Hey guys, welcome back. It's your host Jamie.
And Jamie, and today we're here with our friend Teagan.
Hey guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So we know Teagan. I think we're going on 10 years of friendship. Yeah. I met Teagan the same time that I met my husband, which is kind of cool. At our old job, Discover Card. The good days.
The best days ever.
The best job I've ever had. I'm just kidding. It was the worst.
It's so long of you guys to know each other. I didn't know that you guys knew each other since you knew Chaz too.
I think you and Chaz were partners in training.
Yeah, we were partners and we were friends first.
Yeah.
And then he told me that he thought Jamie was cute. So
I
I was like,
oh,
hey.
the love story.
Yeah.
Wait, that's
right?
really cute. That's
so
cute.
my anniversary with Chaz is actually my anniversary with Teagan too.
Yeah. We share.
So you guys all three
We're at
go
the
to dinner.
throuple. Yeah, and Teagan pays the bill.
For a long time, we were kind of like a throuple.
Yeah.
Without the
True. No, I mean, no, Brady was with us a lot. We did a lot of
but
dates.
all three of us lived together and
Yeah,
Brady
that's
didn't
true.
live with us. So
Yeah. Yep. From there, we were roommates, and yeah, we've lived a long life together. We're like an old married couple now.
Grown together so much too. Evolved.
Yeah, it's been cool.
I know it's cool you guys get to see each other through different stages of life, like you both becoming mothers, getting married, and
exactly. Yeah, I was the maid
roommates.
of honor in your what? Maid of honor, did I say that right? Of your wedding. And
Yeah.
that's so
yeah,
exciting.
it's been so cool. And now Teagan is in our Bible study. Yes.
I know, that's super cool, which by now, if you haven't noticed, we've had everyone in our Bible study on. We just thought it was super cool and important to have everyone who's kind of closest with us and helping us get closer to Jesus on here to kind of share a little bit about them, because we think they're all amazing and have so much goodness to say. But
yeah. So just to jump right in, something that we ask every guest that comes on the pod is, what is your favorite Bible verse and how does it resonate with you?
You know, I'll be honest, I haven't read the Bible fully through, so that was a little bit interesting for me to try to find one. So I just looked up verses that had to do with anxiety.
Yeah.
And I found one that I really liked. So it's Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand.
That's good.
That one just stood out the most to me. I kind of have, I guess, kind of maybe a controversial view on anxiety and faith. So this one was the one that was not totally in your face, you can't have anxiety because you believe in God.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the verses that have to do with anxiety are kind of like that, and I liked that this one wasn't, but it was just saying that, God is there for you.
Yeah.
Even if you're having anxiety, he's there to lift you up and help you through it. So it was more to me like a affirmation type thing of this is a little reminder for me that I could say this anytime I'm feeling anxious or whatever, and maybe that might help me calm down in the moments
I think
I'm having anxiety.
Yeah, I think that's super relatable as to figuring out how to handle your anxiety with faith is so weird, because I had to go through that too. And it's just such a weird thing, because you're okay, I'm trusting God and all that, but I also am anxious. And it's I was able to get to that point of okay, this is kind of a worldly feeling, so how am I gonna get through that? So I love all the verses that help with anxiety, because it's just you find some peace within that. And I really like that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And for it to not discredit that you have anxious feelings,
Right.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a good way to put it.
Okay, so am I allowed to be a Christian because I'm feeling anxious?
Yeah.
Can these coexist? But I like that. I think one of Emily's favorite quotes was from Isaiah too, right?
I think so.
We're gonna have to read that one next.
Yeah, I know that one would be good.
Yeah.
Did you want to share a little bit about your testimony, how you know God, how you got to know God? I know it might look a little different for you, and you kind of feel like it's different than everyone else's, but I think a lot of people can relate to you. So I would love if you could share that for us.
Yeah.
Well, starting off growing up, we weren't a religious family. I didn't really know about religion or God. I found out actually later in life as an adult that my mom was raised Catholic. I did not know that. She never talked about it or anything. So yeah, growing up, I didn't really know God or anything. Did kind of have a little bit of a rough childhood. My parents didn't always get along, and they fought quite a bit, and I remember a lot of that. But I started to get interested in God, like in my early 20s. I just started getting interested in it and like wanting to know more and learn more and, you know, see what it was all about, because I never experienced it before. And I've had people close to me and just people that I know that have or were starting to get into religion or back into it. And it just made me think like, hey, maybe this is something that I should look into. Maybe it'll help me, and you know, I'll become better for it or whatever I was thinking at the time. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've dabbled in religion and faith since early 20s. And then I know, like, Jamie, you've had a couple of Bible study groups, and each time I would like be like, oh, I want to join, I want to be a part of it. And I think I didn't really take it too seriously, but I wanted like to take a next step and like do something to like put myself in it more, dip my toes in a little deeper, I guess. But for whatever reason, maybe I just wasn't ready or whatever, didn't know enough. I don't know, didn't take it like seriously enough, so I would back away from it, or something would happen with the group and we didn't do it anymore, didn't meet anymore, for whatever the reason. Like, I would just go in and out. But I think with this most recent Bible study that you've started, it's a really good group of girls, and I'm glad that I've gotten to get to know them and become close with them. I feel like we all help each other really well in growing closer to Jesus and teaching each other things and being there for each other. So I'm really happy that I joined and that I've stuck out with it. I think I'm probably the strongest I've been in my faith now than I've ever have been. I still consider myself fairly new and fresh in it. So I still struggle with things and still trying to shift my mindset to think in a different light about life and situations and things that I read in the Bible. And, you know, I still get confused or have doubts sometimes, but that's another thing that's really nice about the Bible study that we have is if I am doubting something, I'll come to you guys and like explain how I'm feeling, and almost every time you guys find a way to explain what I'm feeling or like what I'm talking about and make it make sense in my head, so that I think about it in a different way, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. That makes more sense. And now I'm not doubting, you know, whatever it was. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
No, I love that. I think I agree. I feel like this group, it has allowed us to have those doubts. I've shared that on previous episodes. Like, it's so important to have that group you can go to and ask those questions. And I also think it's super, super relatable and normal for, you know, being new to it and having questions and having doubts. I think it's a common misconception that, oh, okay, I accept God into my life. My life's perfect now. Yeah. That's totally not what it is. If anything, it makes life harder, but people don't realize that. And I think it's a beautiful thing to like get into, of course, like that's why we're here right now. But like, I think it's commonly thought like, oh, okay, I'm going to accept Jesus, then everything will be fine. Like, I'll have peace. I'll have no stress. I'll be happy. I'll have all these thoughts, but that's not how it is. It's like takes actual work. And I don't think people really realize that. And it's cool to see like, you know, you are still kind of going through that. I still go through that. Like I was having a lot of anxiety this week, and, you know, I just had to, you know, like seek the Lord and look for answers within him rather than like the world. And I think that's why it's helpful to have the group that we have, or, you know, the Bible, to just look into it and be like, okay, how am I going to go about this, and how am I going to put the work in to actually overcome this, or whatever. So I love that.
And I feel like it's rare too to find like a group of girls like the girls that are in our Bible study that are genuinely like good people, and we all have like each other's best interests at heart, and we're just, you know, genuine and intentional. And like what we said a few episodes ago, when someone asks for a prayer request, we stop what we're doing and we pray. We don't just say like, hey, I'll pray for you. And I think that like our group is super special, and like you said, that's why we wanted you guys all on first, because like I don't think we would even be doing this podcast if we weren't.
No, we
like,
wouldn't.
Yeah, solid in our Bible study. So yeah,
I know. I feel like it's given us a lot of confidence, and it's helped us grow in leadership. I mean, you're the one who started it.
No,
but
and it's helped me so much.
It's helped you so much. I feel like it's helped me so much. I feel like all of us can say that it's just helped us all so much mentally, like faithfully, and just in so many ways. And even just having like good friends. And I think it's like you said, that's like kind of rare to come by, because, you know, there are those Christians out there that, you know, they still have those like toxic tendencies, or, you know, like the worldly thoughts and things like that, which is totally normal. But I think we got really, really lucky. We've been so lucky with who we've been able to be in a Bible study with. I kind of wanted to ask, since you're kind of new to it, have you experienced like others around you or people around you that like have maybe expressed their doubts with you kind of coming to your faith or anything like that? Like, you know, has
what am I trying to say?
Like
towards me, like
I've been like
doubting my like why I'm starting this journey.
I guess sort of, or just like has there been anyone that's been like, oh, you're doing that, you know, like that kind of thing, or like they really just kind of, I mean, if they aren't Christian or they aren't religious whatsoever, and they kind of put the doubts as of like, oh, you're doing that, or I guess they put their like negative thoughts onto you about that. Like, has that...
Honestly, no. I mean, I feel like I know a lot of people that are faithful, and I mean, I don't really have that big of a friend group, and everyone, I mean, most of my friends are you guys. I have a few friends that aren't really religious, but they're not like atheist either. So they're just like, you know, whatever you feel like. My mom did though, was like, she just asked me like why are you, like, she's like, I'm just curious, like why are you all of a sudden like so interested in like learning about God and, you know, going to church and everything. And I was like, I mean, I just was interested in it. I just wanted to see what it was about, and turns out that I believe and I enjoy it. It makes me a happier person. It makes me a better person. And she was like, okay, well, I just wanted to make sure that like you're doing it for you, and you're not like, just like doing it because your friends are doing it or whatever. And I'm like, well, I mean,
it was a good heart check.
Encouraging,
of course,
not like, oh, my friend's doing it, so I want to do it. It's not like that kind of thing, but it's like, oh, well, if my, you know, my best friends are like into this and doing this, like, it just intrigued me even more. It was like, this is also another way that I can connect with my friends that are already doing this. And by like going into it and, you know, just trying to learn more and see if this is something that I would like, it just like, I don't know, it just gave me more motivation to do that.
Would you say it's like helped your mental health overall, or just like your like what good things do you think have come from that?
Yes and no. That's a funny thing that I was thinking about too before I came, is like I listened to your guys' previous episodes, and the one you guys were talking about, like, anxiety a lot, and I was just like taking in everything you guys were saying, and I was like you were saying that it, like, turning to God has helped you with your anxiety, but for me, I feel like it hasn't really. Maybe not, maybe it has a little bit, but not like to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm saved.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm doing all the things. You know, I talk to him, I pray, I go to church, not every Sunday, but I try. If I don't go to church, I try to watch it online. I'm in the Bible, I do Bible study. So I'm like, I don't know if there's like more that he needs from me to like relieve me of the anxiety that I have. I don't know, but I just feel like I haven't had a moment yet where I'm like, oh my gosh, God's really helped me in my anxiety.
Yeah, I kind of want to add to that. I feel like I didn't get that moment until literally 2 days ago.
Oh, really?
I had this, my week has been crazy, right? And I had this literal like moment. I was like, oh my gosh. And I got a sense of relief, and I got this just overwhelming peace. And I was like, I've said before, like, yes, it's helped me so much, but I still had this like anxiety that I could not get over until I was listening to another podcast, and everything just clicked for me. And then I started reading the Bible that night, and it was clicking even more. And I was like, this is so good. Like, and I kind of realized, I was like, wait, is this happening because we are about to talk about anxiety on the podcast? Because I was like, maybe I'm experiencing this like I had to realize like anything I experience is for a purpose. And like, yeah, I thought that before, but like it really clicked for me. And I guess we can kind of dive in now is like what I heard. It was on the George Janko podcast, the Christian Avengers episode, I think his 100th episode. And he said, you can't be anxious and grateful. And that like clicked for me like so well. It made me think like, oh yeah, like I'm worried because I've been having some like health issues, and I was like waiting for results and waiting to go get tests done, and I felt so much anxiety over it. It's like I was telling Corey this, like I had this, like I was fine in my brain, but my body and like soul was anxious. Like my brain, I was like, I'm fine, but my soul was anxious. I was so just nervous, and I like couldn't pinpoint it. Like I knew it was all surrounding my health and stuff, but I like didn't know how to just get rid of it, because I kept telling myself, you're fine, you're good, God's got you, like all of that, but it just wasn't working until I heard that. And I was like, okay, I cannot be anxious and grateful. And then I was thinking, and I was like, okay, if you're anxious, that means like I'm not believing that God has the power to protect me and take that from me. I'm worried of what's to come, and I'm worried of all of that, but that means I'm not allowing God to even take it from me, because I'm set in the fact that I'm scared of what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So it was like, okay, God is all knowing, and I am scared of what's to come. So I'm just simply believing that God doesn't know what's going to come, and God's not going to protect me in it, or he knows and he isn't going to protect me. But my God would protect me, and my God is always, you know, like there's everything for a reason and all of that. And I think that it just clicked, because I was like, okay, I want to believe that he is. And then I was like, I do. I kept telling myself like, God's got me. And like, I kind of started going down this spiral of like, you know what? I'm grateful I get to go get an ultrasound, because that's what I want my future career in. So maybe my whole health thing is for a greater purpose of being able to share that with a patient one day. Like one day I'm going to have a patient that is going through the same things I am, and I'm going to be like, I've been there. Right. And I've been able
to... It's like a way that you'll be able to connect with them.
Exactly. And I think, I mean, you're a nurse, so I think you have a lot of... You see a lot, and you see a lot of that anxiety a lot at work. Yeah. And I think that if... Now, of course, I'm coming off like I'm like, if you just do this, you're fine. It obviously takes whatever it takes for it to click for you. Yeah. This is just how it clicked for me. But I think just realizing like it has a purpose, just like how I said my anxiety this whole week, like I couldn't pinpoint it, whatever. And then it started clicking for me. And then I was literally like, stopped what I was doing, writing down notes for what to talk about this episode. And I was like, that's the purpose. Like, that is where I'm going to put my energy towards. Like, I'm going to use this and how I overcame it through God for this reason, for a specific purpose. And just, I want to be a grateful person. Like, I want to be thankful for everything, even the bad, even the sad, the like fearful, like everything. And so I was like, you know what? I'm grateful I have the means to get an ultrasound. I'm grateful I have like the support I do, the Bible study I do to pray for me. I'm grateful that I have a podcast to share my journey on and maybe document that. Like later on, I'll see it as something else. But right now it's like, okay, I had to realize my anxiety in that moment is going to be way worse than down the road. I'm going to be like, oh, like this is what that was for. Or, oh, God was teaching me I'm stronger than this. But I don't know. I just kind of went on a whole rant.
No, that was good though.
I was just thinking, because we were reading right now in our Bible study, we're reading Job, and something that stood out to me was Job 9:4, which was, for God is so wise and so mighty, who has ever challenged him successfully? And I realized my anxiety is testing him, and I'm not going to be successful if I am anxious about it. So I was like, I have to quite literally realize, like, he is wise and he is mighty, and I'm like, I just had to realize the whole, I'm not going to be successful if I am anxious about it. And I don't know, I just felt God give me that peace after going through that spiral of like, it was I think it was Tuesday night. But I was just, I don't know, I was like amazed. I was telling Corey, I was like, this is so good. I'm feeling God so much right now. And like everything just kept adding on. I mean,
and
it.
It's evident that he's like speaking through you right now too. So I'm going to be resigning from this podcast because Jamie has it from here.
Stop it. No, I just am so passionate about it.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful that that God gave me that moment, because I wasn't as confident to talk about this, because yes, it's helped me, but again, I haven't overcome anxiety until like that moment. I haven't been anxious since. Yes, I've been like, I'm still waiting for results, so I've just been frustrated.
Yeah.
But I've been able to separate my frustration from my anxiety, and I've been like, I'm not anxious anymore.
Yeah.
Like this sounds so extreme, but like I was like, the literal worst case, I die, but at the end I'm with God. So I was like, it's fine.
You're not gonna die.
No, I know. I'm not that worried.
Don't
but I'm
concern
saying
our viewers.
I know, I'm good, guys. Like nothing is that serious.
They're like, Jamie, what's wrong with you?
The GoFundMe is in my bio.
No, but I was just like, I was like thinking about it. I was like, you know, like quite literally worst case. I didn't even think that's not really a possibility at all. But like, hey, I was like,
I mean, the worst case scenario to anything is like, boom, you're dead.
Exactly. So I was like, you know, I can't just be anxious forever. Yeah. Like I am fine. Even if I die, I'm fine.
Oh, Lord.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, but I don't know. I just got a lot of like back to back, like reassurance from God in that moment, because I was listening to a Christian podcast and heard him say, you can't be anxious and grateful. And I immediately wrote it down in my notes. And I was like, I am very thankful for the life I've been given. And we've talked about it before, like everything we've gone through is for a reason. And I'm so thankful that I've been through everything I've been through. So I just had to get that. I had to like change my mindset over it, because it was something I physically was like, I can't figure this out. Like I physically am shaking right now. My heart's beating so fast, yet I can't figure out how to get it to stop.
Yeah.
And no matter how many times I said, I'm fine, like I wasn't fine.
Yeah.
So being able to be like, wait, I do get to get an ultrasound and like share that with someone one day, and you know, relate to other people. I think everything happens so we can relate to others.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a good point. I lost my.
I know. How do you follow that? That was so good.
I know. Well, I had something I wanted to say, but then it
you just have to cut us off at any point and just go
just tell me. Stop.
Be like, Jamie, relax.
We were talking about this before the episode. I just sometimes talk way too much.
No, you don't. It's
like
okay.
I can't help it.
Passionate about it, and that is.
Thank you. I appreciate
cool.
that.
Yeah.
I guess I'll ask, because you are a nurse. Have you seen any difference in like your faith and seeing what you see at work? Like, sorry, I don't know how to word this very well. Like, now that you have a faith in, like, have your faith, are you able to see your work differently in the fact that you're seeing a lot of people go through a lot of hard things? So are you able to see maybe, like, I don't know if I should say, like, the bright side of things better, or just see things are happening for a reason, or anything like that? And the answer can be no if you say no.
I don't
you can be honest.
think so. You know, it's kind of weird, like, being a follower of Jesus now, and, like, I kind of feel like I'm living two lives.
Yeah, really.
Honestly, like, I feel like I try my best to, you know, like, bring him through every aspect of my life, but, like, when I'm working as a nurse, like, I feel like everything else just is non-existent. Like, like, when I'm at work for those 12 hours, I'm a nurse and I'm taking care of patients, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think about anything else besides my baby, and how much I miss him. But, like, like, nothing, like, it's weird. It's like a tunnel vision of, like, when I'm at work, it's like, I'm a nurse. I live, breathe, die nurse. Like, I have nothing else in life. Like, I'm just a nurse, and I have to take care of these people. Like,
would you say that your work brings you more anxiety than it does, like, joy?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you think, like, the root of your anxiety is maybe, like,
right now? Yes.
Yeah.
I got officially diagnosed with the generalized anxiety disorder in, like, I don't remember exactly. I think it was 2020. And I was in therapy, and then that's how I got diagnosed by psychologists, I think they're called. And she figured out from, like, what I was telling her that my anxiety was situational. So, like, anything that happens in my life, like, that's where my anxiety comes from. It's from, like, an event or a situation that's happening to me. So, like, for right now, my situation is my job. Like, it does bring me a lot more anxiety than happiness. At first, I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was bringing me joy, because the whole reason I became a nurse was because I wanted to help people. I wanted to be, you know, I wanted to do something greater with my life than just, like, work, you know, a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and then go home and, you know, do it all over again the next day. I wanted to be a nurse because I knew I had the opportunity to, like, help other people and potentially save people's lives every day that I'm working. And, like, just to my core, I believe that I'm, like, a caregiver at heart. Like, that's just who I am. And, like, I've been that way my whole life. Before I was a nurse, even, like, I was, you know, nursing, you know, my family, my friends. Like, I've just always been that type of person. So, like, it felt natural, and, like, felt like this is the perfect job. This is what I'm supposed to do with my life. And now, I don't know what has changed, honestly. I don't know if it's the patients and, you know, how they treat us, or... So, yeah, I don't know, like, necessarily the root of the anxiety, the cause of the anxiety. I don't know, but I know that it is around work, because I can tell a difference in my body when I'm there. Like, even just, like, the other day, I think it was, like, Thursday of last week, I was at work. I had decent patients, nothing too crazy, nothing too hard. I wasn't, like, super busy or anything. I just, like, for no reason, it seemed, had anxiety all day since the moment I got to work. And it just was building up from the second I got there. And then I just remember for, like, hours on end, like, I just felt like I was in a constant state of a panic attack. Like, I just felt sick. I felt, like, dizzy, lightheaded, woozy, like, nothing. There was no reason for me to feel that way. Like, I truly think that I was just so anxious that I was having, like, a physical body reaction, which I've had a lot of times before. And then I get to the end of the shift, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't know what my next step is or what the future holds for me, but it's not this. And I was supposed to work the next day. called out because I was like, I need a mental health day. Like, I cannot come back and do this again tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I go home, do my thing, you know, go to bed, wake up at midnight, and I'm like super nauseous. So then I go in the bathroom, end up vomiting, and then also having diarrhea. And that
natural.
lasted for like 3 days. So I'm like, I don't know if that was anxiety driven or if I had a stomach bug. I wasn't around anyone who was sick, so I don't know how I would have gotten a stomach bug.
Yeah.
But like, I still don't know to this day what it was, but like, I just thought it was weird that I had a very anxious day at work, and then go home, go to bed, and then I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm vomiting and crapping my pants.
So that's actually so relatable to me. I will be so honest, I had the exact same thing. If I'm anxious, then I will wake up at like usually 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm throwing up, all the things. So it's like, a lot of people don't realize anxiety can be so physically like draining.
For sure. And I did look it up because I was like, I know anxiety can make you nauseous. I've felt nauseous many times before having anxiety, but I've never vomited or had diarrhea. So I looked it up, and it was like, yes, your mental health is actually connected to your gut.
Yeah.
100%.
So if you're having mental issues, anxiety, stress, depression, whatever, that can also affect your gut. So I was like, oh, that's great.
Vice versa too. If you take care of your gut, I think
Yeah.
that also helps
Yeah,
with your
it
mind.
does.
Yeah, it's crazy how connected they are. But
I know God made us so
it's not
beautifully.
that crazy. Your whole body's connected, so I guess
know.
it makes
it's
sense.
like, duh.
Yeah, no, I definitely relate there. I think that was my biggest thing, because it was like I would get sick after being anxious one day, and I didn't realize, like, okay, why wasn't I throwing up as I was anxious, like that day? It was always the next day when like I was having like this physical reaction afterwards.
I think it's because your body's like in shock when it's happening. So then, and your
like
body's
adrenaline.
freaking
Or like
out.
fight or flight.
Yeah, you're
mode.
in fight or flight
Yeah.
mode. You're literally just like, you're running from a bear for however long your anxiety lasts.
Yeah.
And then once your body chills out, then it's like exhausted and out of sorts. So then it reacts to all the adrenaline and all the hormones and stuff that you had in your brain.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Do you feel like you've hit, I mean, it sounds like it, that you've hit like rock bottom with your situation? Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I have good and bad days,
Yeah.
you know, like every day is different. I try to take every day as it is and try not to bring, you know, like yesterday's stuff to today. I try to start every day fresh and brand new. Like, it's a new day. It's possible that it's not going to be like yesterday or the day before or whatever. It's very just random, honestly. Like, today I was very happy, very fine. But then I know I work tomorrow. I know as soon as I wake up, I'm going to have anxiety again. It's just like, it's like I was a new grad again. Like, I would get pre-shift anxiety. So like the night before, my stomach would get all weird and my heart's racing and I'm shaking and I'm like just anticipating how bad the work day is going to be, or like what's going to happen and all that stuff. So I'm like kind of back in that mindset.
you have a high stress job, so you shouldn't like downplay it to where like, what's wrong with me? Like, you have a hard job.
Yeah, thank you for what you do, because nurses are
No
heroes.
That's what I live for.
Yeah, and I think it's like a cool testament to that every day at work, like, you are serving God.
Yeah, and that's something too that, you know, since I've became a follower of Jesus, that you know, brings me joy, is that without even realizing it, before I even chose this journey to do, like, I've been serving God this entire time without even knowing it. And now that I'm aware of it, now it just feels that much better that I'm like,
get yourself a pat on the back, girl.
It's a hard job, but I'm doing God's work. For real.
No, literally, you're taking care of all of his people.
Yep.
And I wanted to ask, or I guess challenge you, if you're open to it, to maybe because you were saying it's like about your mindset, you think, because you were saying at the beginning your mindset was like it, and now you feel like you're back to that mindset. Do you think you are able to, like, quite literally, you're either about to go to work or you're at work and you're like, no, like, tell yourself, no, this is happening, or like, have you done this before too? That's also my question, is like being like, no, I'm not gonna let today be like that. God has my back. I'm good. Like, how oh my god, like,
are you having a stroke? Like, how well, good thing we have a nurse in the room. How accountable do you hold yourself at work?
Or what do you do as you are having, like, you're starting to feel that anxiety?
You know, I'll be very honest with you, I give into it a lot. I kind of crutch on it more than I should. It's a hard balance for me because I'm like, I know that something is chemically wrong in my brain. I've been like actually diagnosed with it, so it's not like I'm just being like, oh, I have anxiety. Like something is like actually wrong with the chemistry in my brain. I take medication for it. I've switched my medications many times, and you know, it just, nothing seems to help. But I don't know, like, I try to do that, but most of the time I'm just like, oh, I have anxiety, like, there's nothing I can do to fix it, like, it's just this is just how it is. And like, I guess I give myself a little too much grace, because I'm like, oh, it's okay, like, I have anxiety, I can feel this way, or like, I'm allowed to feel this way because I have anxiety, and like, that's just how it is.
Like, you kind of live in it rather than try to like redirect it.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, you don't have to feel like embarrassed or like ashamed. Like, it's hard. The position that you're in is hard.
It feels like too much to do something about it. Like, my anxiety is just so bad and like so consuming and overwhelming that even the thought of trying to fix it or make it better gives me anxiety.
Gives you more anxiety
because I'm just so overwhelmed by the feeling and everything else in life, like having to have a job and be a mom and be a wife and, you know, live life even though you feel this way and you feel like you're drowning. It's very hard to come out of that when you're like in it,
in the depths of it. No, I 1000% have been there. I feel like I've kind of opened up about that a few times. It's like, I was so stuck, like, I was like literally stuck in that anxiety, never able to get out. And I had that mindset, like, I was like, when is it going to come back? Like, anytime I wasn't anxious, I was like, well, when is it going to come back? And then I get anxious again. It was just this cycle that I think is so extremely hard to get out of, like you were saying. I think being able to, I don't want this to come off really strong, but being able to decide, are you strong enough to do that for yourself? Like, are you willing to, okay, I'm going to have a lifetime of pain and agony and suffering and anxiety, or am I going to work really, really dang hard right now to fix it? Am I going to, like, actually change my mindset? Like, I got to a point I was so willing to try anything. I was like, hey, daily affirmations, like, let's go. I was like, I will tell myself anything. I will do anything to get out of this. And I mean, like I said, only this week I was like able to come out of it and find this like new mindset of it. And I, as a psychology student, think your mindset is like so important.
It is.
I think it quite literally changes everything.
Yeah,
I think you can heal so much with your mind.
Your brain is a lot stronger than you think it is.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly.
I do believe that I am a very weak-minded person.
No,
I really do. Like, I'm lazy too, I'll be honest. So like, I just, a lot of the time I'm like, oh, I want this to happen, but I'm too lazy to do the work.
I think it takes a lot though to own up to that. I think that's like step one right there. You noticing that, I think,
well, and if you're
powerful.
willing to, like, are you willing to change that, like, and tell us, as you know, the girls in your Bible study, what can we be doing to help you?
I know, like, I do want to change that. Like, I don't want to be stuck in this. Like, I'm obviously not as happy as I can be without it being there. I think that I definitely need to go back to therapy. But again, I'm overwhelmed at the thought of even trying to find a therapist, you know, looking for one that fits what I'm needing. And then doing the appointment and making sure that you click. It's like the medication, like,
and then if you don't, you have to explain your story again to somebody else.
Exactly.
And that part is a little frustrating.
So yeah, I think that is something that I definitely need to do in order to help myself get better. But it's just, you know, like pushing myself to do that, make that step.
Well, and I think too, it's important if you think, you know, life is so hard right now, I think maybe just like, what do you have to lose, you know, like, is it gonna get any worse, you know, if you fully surrender and you fully go all in to like changing your mindset and like taking the steps to really overcome your anxiety. What do you have to lose, you know? If you are at like rock bottom with it, you can't really go any further, you know? So
true.
I also think realizing like you don't only have to rely on yourself, like you do have God on your side. Like you don't have to think like I personally can't do this. It's like, no, you know God, you've read the Bible, you read other people's stories, you've heard other people's stories, and you know what like Jesus went through for us. So it's like God can get you through it. It's if you're willing to truly deep down trust that he can get you through it, because I thought I did. And I was like, yeah, I trust God, of course, like what are you talking about? But until I was like, no, like I'm not trusting him. I'm literally not, as you know, and that's just as real as I could put it. Like I just wasn't trusting him because I was like, what can I do, what can I do, what can I do, instead of being like, how can I allow God to change this for me?
I think you also have to remember too that these like thoughts that you're having aren't from God. Like I'm lazy, I'm weak-minded. Like God would never put those thoughts into your head. That's literally the enemy. And I think it's just a matter of like looking him in the face and saying like, I've allowed you to have me in like this headlock for too long and I'm done. You know, and it's not going to be like, oh, I claim this new identity. Like it's not going to just be like, okay, great. My
and
anxiety's
I feel like
gone.
that's kind of how
Christianity can seem.
I feel like that's how they make it sound like, is like, oh, if you surrender to Jesus, then he'll save you from and it'll just poof be gone,
right?
But that's not how life works.
Oh, I know I'm like, I'm gonna feel anxious again, I know it. But I think being able to be like taking control and allowing God to take that control and be like, you know what, I give it to God. Like I truly like, oh, I'm starting to feel anxious, I'm giving that to you, God. Take what you want with it. If you want, if I need to be anxious in this moment, I'll be anxious, I'll figure it out, and I'll learn later on why. But I think as we were reading in Job, how he was like put through all of these things because Satan was like, oh, he's following you just because he has all these riches and stuff. You give him all this. So I bet he's like, just watch, like I will if I'll test him and then we'll see, or I'll take everything he has away and then we'll see. And God's like, go for it, do it. I bet he'll still follow me. And you know, and then he time and time again proved his faith and his like strength in God and trusting God. And I think that's kind of literally what we go through every day, is those tests that like Satan has on you and holds over you. Because hey, he probably was like, she's starting to be curious about God. Oh no,
let's make her feel weak, and let's make her feel like, well, let's put all of these like doubts in her head about Christianity so that she doesn't want anything to do with it. But also let's tell her that she's lazy and that she's weak and that she is anxiety, not like she's feeling anxious today. It's a lot. And anxieties.
Oh, it's so hard too.
I think it does help me though, in a weird way, in my job too, though. It's like I have such bad anxiety that it kind of makes me like a better nurse in a way, because I like triple overcheck everything and I question everything. I overshare with the doctors because I'm scared that I'm gonna miss something or I'm gonna not tell the doctor something important, and then the patient's gonna die and it's gonna be my fault.
Yeah.
So like in that sense, I guess it helps me because, well, anxiety was made to help, like fight or flight. Like you see something that's gonna kill you, a bear,
run.
You have anxiety because that's your instinct, your nature to tell you to run away from this thing because it's gonna eat you or kill you or whatever. But some of us just have that extreme part of it where it's like almost we feel like it's uncontrollable. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Well, I'm hoping that, obviously we'll be praying for you, but I'm hoping that you're able to figure out or gain the knowledge or whatever to come out of it and realize you aren't lazy. You aren't anxiety. You aren't fearful. Like you are a strong person. Like remembering that you were literally made in God's image. God is not anxious. God is not fear. God is not
He's not
sadness.
weak-minded.
God is not weak. Like realizing, no, I'm made in God's image. And that I'm not going to be what he isn't, because anything that isn't him is Satan. So I think it's just important to, I guess I'll say, like, I challenge you to stay strong in those moments that you feel like giving into it, or immediately pray. Like you get anxious, Lord, please take this anxiety from me. Like, or Lord, help me understand why this anxiety is happening. Or like,
come to us too. Like things that, the enemy hates is community.
Oh, girl,
prayer.
You'll be getting calls and texts every 5 seconds.
I hope. I will be answering. No, because I feel like that was something when I was going through it in the thick of it, in my first year of college, like I didn't have anyone because no one else experienced anxiety to the point I did, where like I quite literally took up the dorm bathroom because like I was throwing up and I'd be like, sorry, I can hold it for a little so you can go to the bathroom. And then like I had to, like I went through that, sleeping on the bathroom floor more times than I could count. And that was something I've literally done from like a child to now. Like my dad had to sleep in the bathroom with me as a kid. Like we never really knew why. And I'm so thankful now that I knew, like, I know that was anxiety and stuff, but just being able to realize that, like, okay, I am stronger than this. I can get through this. And I kind of lost my train of thought, to be honest. But here I am talking
it's
over
about time
again.
that train was derailed.
But anyways.
Well, I do want to share something, too, that I found at Target.
That's cute.
Ooh.
It's a little, like, journal, I guess.
Yeah.
It's called Breathe In God, Breathe Out Anxiety.
Ooh, I like that.
It's a workbook. That's the name.
Have you started it?
A workbook of everyday ways to find calm. I have done one. I did today. Okay.
Ooh.
So it's like a workbook to help you with anxiety, but it's like faith-based. So I found it at Target and I was like, you know what? I'm going to use that as a tool, or try to use it as a tool to maybe like help me feel better.
Yeah, no, that's good
or
to
do
use.
Better.
It's good to find tools that are Christian based, or just, using God to help you. I think it's harder to do on your own. So going for a Christian workbook or a Christian therapist or
your Christian community.
Yeah.
Just everything that Satan hates.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, you know what?
And
forget you, Satan.
So I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but even if it feels inauthentic, like even if it feels like you're forcing it, like it'll stick eventually. You know what I mean? Like habits, I feel like, are very hard to create because it's so easy to be like, meh. Like, I don't want to do that.
Oh yeah.
If you like, no, I'm doing it today, even if it doesn't feel like fulfilling, or I don't want to, or like I want to be lazy today, if you like force it for a little while, it will become like habitual and like it'll feel good and it'll be part of your routine without you even thinking twice about it.
It's like the science behind doing your daily affirmations, like, oh, I am beautiful, I am strong. It's staring at yourself in the mirror, like it's that same science of you just put yourself in it and you will believe it. So I thought we had such a good episode.
Yeah, that was good.
I feel like we were talking so good.
Is there anything else that you kind of just want to like share with where you're at? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I do just kind of want to touch a little bit on another topic.
Yeah.
That really, I don't know, I guess.
Convicts you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're stealing the words out of my mouth.
I do that pretty well.
She's so good at
like,
that.
I'm thinking of this word, but I can't put it like out of my mouth.
Knows.
And she
just knows.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for. I'm just like,
stop. No.
And Jamie's like dropping facts, and I'm like,
stop.
Period.
I wouldn't have these facts or anything without you. So
without Jesus,
which I got through you. So, anyways, what you were gonna say.
Don't make me cry now.
But I had a medical problem that started literally a year ago.
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like it was longer though.
It did feel like longer.
That was a long time.
But it's been a year.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go into like super much detail about it, but basically I had a cyst that needed to be removed, and I had surgery on it last February, and that surgeon was supposed to remove all the cyst stuff and close me back up, and it was supposed to heal and be back to normal. But that didn't happen. And I think that during that time was when we first started this current Bible, or not this, well, kind of.
It was like our previous one. I think we took a break over the summer, but then September.
So I was like full diving into my faith at that point when this all first started. So that made me, question a lot, question God and why he's putting me through this. Why do I have to go through this? Like, I've never heard of this thing before it happened to me. And, I mean, the wound wasn't healing. I mean, it was healing to an extent, and then it just like wouldn't close up all the way. So I ended up having to go to a wound clinic so they could try all these different things to try to make it heal, and it was like 4 or 5 months of that, and it wasn't healing still. So the doctor I was seeing there, I think she was a general surgeon, which is who not her, but I saw a general surgeon who did the first surgery, and she was recommending that I go see a plastic surgeon because they specialize, in fixing skin and that kind of stuff. So I ended up going to see one, and she was like, they may not want to do another surgery, but it's not healing at this point, so we have to try something else. So I think we should put another set of eyes on it, see what they think. So go to him, and he's like, you're young, you're healthy, you don't have diabetes, like there's no reason why this wound shouldn't heal. So, but there is something preventing it from healing. It has to be, maybe he said like a stitch stuck in there from the surgery, or they didn't get all the tissue out, so it's reinfecting, and that's why it's not healing. He's like, there is a reason why it's not healing. He's like, the only way to fix it is to do surgery again, but my way, I will scoop everything out and leave it open to heal from the bottom up, not close it back up, and that's the best way for it to heal completely. And I was so mad. I remember, I'm like, why is God, making me have to go through another surgery? I just had surgery 6 months ago, like, for this same problem. Why is he, putting me through this and making me have to go through another surgery? And then this recovery will be way longer because they're not closing the wound back up. They're just leaving it open, and I'm going to have to pack it and stuff like that. So I struggled a lot at that point with like doubting God and like the reasoning and why is he letting this happen to me, or why is he doing this to me? And then I remember I did come to you guys and I explained that, and you guys like kind of made me realize that like he's not the one doing it to me. But at that time too, I was again struggling with my job and I was on the verge of quitting at that point. So that's kind of when, like, the first time really ever I think that I witnessed God doing something in my life was, even though it was a struggle to deal with multiple surgeries and a wound that I had to take care of and, you know, stuff like that, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise, because I was about to quit my job over anxiety.
Yeah.
And he gave me this opportunity, I guess.
An interesting one, but an opportunity.
To be out of work for a little while. So, like, I was focusing on myself and, you know, healing. And then while doing that, I got to be home with my son and spend more time with my family because I wasn't working. So I thought that was kind of cool that and I remember I also came to you guys when I had that realization, and I was so excited because I was like, guys, I finally have like seen God working in my life.
Yeah, and you came to that revelation by yourself, which I think is like huge.
Yeah. No, I love that.
How are you now, like with your healing?
But fast forward to today, my wound is basically healed.
Hallelujah.
Like, it's barely
That's
even
so
open. It looks like a little
like bug bite
scratch or something. I don't know.
Wow.
Yay. That's so good.
So it's there, guys. It's there. We're at the end of the road.
Yeah.
I can enjoy summer this year.
Oh yeah, you couldn't even get in the swimming pool last year.
So that'll be fun. I'm excited about that. I also think that this wound has caused me a lot of depression and anxiety, just being felt like I'm stuck in this situation and it's not getting better. I mean, it is getting better, but like just taking so long.
And it felt like it was just like, when will this end?
So I think now that it's, you know, pretty much closed, like I'm just going to say it's closed. It really, you can't even tell. Like I looked at it last night and I was like, pretty sure that's
good.
Done.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, that's great.
So I think now that that's over, I think mentally I will be a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, not healed, not
you know, yeah, 100%.
The happiest I've ever been in my life, but
step one,
it is one less thing off my plate that I have to worry about and stress about. Won't have to go to doctor's appointments every 2 weeks anymore. Won't have to worry about making sure that it's clean and all that stuff. Like, I can just go back and be a normal human being again. Without having a medical condition.
I know. No, now that also gives you like, okay, I don't have to worry about that. Now I can focus on my anxiety and help that instead of like having something that's causing that whole thing. So
I think it's cool too because you really showed up for yourself at the end there with like you started working out again.
I forgot to mention
you started eating better to like heal the wound yourself, and I think God was like, wow, you're really taking care of your body, like let me help you out, you know what I mean? That is also, I forgot I started doing that. I started working out again, getting more protein, and
you have to eat a lot of protein to heal a wound. And I was struggling. I mean, I struggle with eating already, I'm having to eat like 100 grams of protein a day, which is so hard for a girl to do. But working out again, you know, kind of helps build your appetite. Like I'm hungry now because I'm burning calories and stuff. So that has really helped a lot, I think.
And I think that's just a testament too of like you show up and like God will provide, and you can take that example and maybe apply it to the next thing that you're struggling with, but like baby steps. Like don't be like, I fully surrender my job to you, like please fix my job situation, you know, like that's gonna take some baby steps and some adjustments, but I think, you know, God does show up in your life, and I think you're starting to really see it, which is like cool to witness through you, especially for like knowing you for so long. So we're just really proud of you.
Thanks.
Of course.
One last question.
Okay.
If you could share one thing with someone who is curious about God, or, you know, like go back to where you were when you were curious about God. If you could share like one thing, it could be simple, it could be complex, what would that be? I know it's kind of a on the spot question, but I was just thinking.
Question.
Yeah, or like someone who, you know, wants to like join a Bible study, or someone who is like, should I commit? Should I try out Jesus? You know,
I'm gonna have a Nike moment and say, just do it.
That's so real though. Just do it. Period.
No, for real. Like, I think if you're like even questioning it at all, I think that you should just go for it.
Yeah.
Because like you said before, like, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. What do you have to lose?
What do you have to lose? Like, just try it, do it if you have just an inkling of interest in it, and if it's not for you, it's not for you, and then you move on with your life. But you just, at least you tried it, and give it a real
shot,
around, like a real effort. But yeah, I'd say like that's probably.
Can you do it like how Shia LaBeouf do it like how he does it? Let's see.
Doesn't he go like, just do it?
Yeah.
Sorry,
no,
guys.
dang it. I really wanted that on camera.
It's fine. Anyways, thank you so much for being so vulnerable. Oh my gosh, I can't say that word. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable, because I know that's hard to do, especially with anxiety, because I think, you know,
you even texted us earlier, like, hey, I'm anxious about today, and we're like, yeah, that's so real, but don't be.
You're like, you got this. No, but I'm just thankful that you were here to share that with us, and I hope like we all can just kind of take everything that we said from this episode, move forward with it, and really make that effort, because I'm also in that with you. So so I just wanted to remind you guys, if you have any prayer requests, let us know. We are like more than happy to pray for you, because again, prayer is so powerful. But thanks for listening.
Thanks for tuning in. We can't wait to see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.